have reviewed over 10,000 resumes in my career, and there are these mistakes that people keep on repeating over and over again. And you know what? Some of the top 3 mistakes that I'm going to mention today, 90% of the resumes that we have, I've got at least one of these mistakes. Recruiters have got only 6 seconds to scan through your resume. So it means in these 6 seconds, you need to grab their attention so that they can be able to look at your resume. Today, I want us to look at these mistakes that we make in our resume that prevent us from getting shortlisted for interviews. And I want us to look at how we can be able to fix these particular mistakes.
Hi, is that Anne? I've been meaning to catch up with you.
If you're new here, my name's Anne Wango, your career bestie. And this is the channel where we help you find deep fulfillment and purpose in your career. If that sounds good to you, do you know what I want you to do? I want you to hit that subscription button. I want you to turn on that notification button so that you can be enjoying our future career tips. So one of the mistakes that we make is that we tend to list the roles that we do instead of the result. I keep on telling people this. Most of the recruiters don't care about the result, the role that you did. What they care more is about the results that you brought on the table, right? Let me give an example. I managed a sales team which was handling clients. So how can you rewrite this so that you show the impact? You can talk about, I led 5 sales team which enabled the company to have a revenue growth of 25% within 6 months. You know, you have tried to quantify or to bring the impact of your role. And how do we fix this? Number 1, show results instead of activities, right? Number 2, use numbers to show impact. And number 3, use strong actionable words. For example, led, build, and delivered. Mistake number 2 that we make in our resume is that we don't have a clear career objective. If you don't articulate your career objective clearly at the top of your resume, don't expect the recruiters to figure that out for you. What they're gonna do, they'll just see you're not fit for the role. So what I want you to do is that you need to make sure that your career objective is very clear and it's very articulative towards the role that you are applying for. How do we fix this? The first one is that you make sure that you write a very short objective at the top of your resume. The second one is focus on how you can help the company, not only how you can come in, but how you can help the company. And the third one is keep it very specific to your industry and your skills. Mistake number 3 that we make in our resume is too many words. I keep on telling people this and I'll repeat this today. Recruiters don't have time to read paragraph of words in your resume. I told you before that they only have 6 seconds to scan through your CV. So what I mean is that your CV should have a lot of white space. And when I talk about it should have a lot of white space, what I mean is it should reduce the wordings and keep more of white space so that when I'm scanning through your CV, I'm able to capture through the most important things that I'm looking for. For example, a lot of people talk about I'm highly motivated and passionate about my work. But instead, you could talk about I improved performance by 40% when I got into the company. Look at that. It's very precise and very specific. So how do we fix this problem? Number 1, make sure that your resume is between 2 to 3 pages. Number 2, can you make sure that you use bulletins to show clarity? And number 3, can you make sure that you highlight 3 achievements at least per job? Since companies started using ATS, a lot of people writing their resume are writing resumes based on keywords. So they clutter in a lot of keywords in their resume, forgetting that even the ATS just factors in the keywords with only 10%. So it means some of these roles that I've told you before, some of the mistakes that we make, those are some of the things that the ATS also consider, and it has a percentage on it. When we write CVs cluttered with a lot of keywords, they don't look like human-based CV. And remember this, that as much as your resume goes through the ATS, it has to come to the recruiter's hand. And this recruiter will read your resume so that they can shortlist you. So you might pass the ATS test, check, but when it comes to the human base, you fail. So how do we fix this? Write for humans first, and then you add the skills section where you put in the keywords. That's it. So mistake number 5 that we always do most of the time. You use the same resume. You go to a profession, they write for you a very good professional resume with very good keywords, very good format, and then you use that resume to apply all the job openings that you get. That is a very big mistake. So how do you fix this? Number 1, can you make sure that you customize your resume per every job description? Very key, you customize your resume per every job description. Number 2, use keywords per the job description. Remember the skills section when you talked about where you put in the keywords, right? So the keywords will come from the job description. And number 3 is make sure that you highlight the skill set and the experience that are most relevant to that job description. Bonus tip that I want to share with you is a mistake that we always make: typo and bad format, right? What are these? These are some of the small mistakes that we underlook when we are writing our resume. Let me give you an example. For example, in your resume, you realize that you start a letter or a sentence with a small letter. That's one example. Another example maybe is, for example, in your work experience or even in your education, where on the first dates you talked about January this date. And then on the second forum, you start talking about Nov. The third one you talk about December. There is an inconsistency in how your format looks like. So how to fix it? Number 1, can you make sure that you tell a friend to preview your CV before you send it? Don't be overconfident with yourself. Number 2, can you use very simple fonts that are very legible? For example, Times New Roman, Calibra, or even Arial. Those are very simple fonts. And number 3, can you make sure that your CV has got a lot of white space? I keep on insisting on this. Your resume is the first impression about you. Make sure that you avoid the mistakes that you have talked today. Make it clear and make it result-oriented. That will increase your chances of getting an interview. And you know what? That's what we are looking for. If you want me to create a video on the best ways on how to get a job, you know what I want you to do? I want you to go to the comment section and I want you to comment. And we will create a video on that.